Alright folks, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to win at Vladivostok. Now Vladivostok is one of the main objectives for the entire campaign, so taking it is very important. And additionally, once you take it, you can bring in Marines, those sweet North Korean Marines that we all know are such high quality. So before I can go into the actual battle, I'm going to show you what I did at the campaign level so that you can see how to set up for the battle. So here we are at the campaign map. So I'm going to show you what kind of stuff I'm doing as far as moving troops into Vladivostok goes. Obviously you got to do that before you can start the battle. So what I've gathered up here so far is an infantry regiment, a tank regiment, an anti-air company, and a close recon. So I'm going to start moving those into Vladivostok. But first I'm going to move in my Marines. But you got to disembark them first. So I disembarked the Marines. So now I've got the Marines there. Move in my tank regiment, because I'm going to need that later when the enemy starts sending their heavy duty tanks to retake Vladivostok. Of course, I'm moving in my attack squadron. Make sure I have coverage, although I probably will not use them much in this battle because the enemy has a lot of anti-air. And I move in my own anti-air company. So I'm just leaving the infantry battalion in Vladivostok so that I can maintain that. And now I'm going into the battle. So I'm checking out what they got. They got recon. They got a lot of artillery and anti-air. But they don't have... They're not bringing any air to the battle. But they do have a lot of anti-air assets to cover the air and prevent me from using my guys. So, here we go. Alright, so here we are. Battle has just started. I've already put down my troops, so y'all don't have to watch me do that. Right now, so what I've got is just a few gunships in the naval sector with a command unit there. I'm going to take these infantry guys and send them over the top through the woods to the Usaris sector so that they can get basically behind enemy lines and start kind of disaggregating the enemy. I've also got a line of infantrymen with their support vehicles. The support vehicles have anti-tank guided missiles, so we'll see those start coming to bear against the enemy BMPs. And that's pretty much it. It's not a very complex setup. The plan is basically I'm going to hold the Vladivostok sector and then bring my guys around the north. And then I'm also, the good thing about the naval vessels and invading with the Marines is that they give you tanks, right? I don't have tanks from my unit that, from the tank battle group that came through, because those guys need to rest before I'm able to use them again. So right now, everything you see is basically either my Marines or I want to say my recon. Yeah, my recon unit. And that's it. Now, how did the Marines get over to that Vladivostok sector without landing? I don't know. We're going to ignore that. For whatever reason, I try and bring in a bomber, and that goes extremely poorly for me. Which I knew that they had a lot of anti-air units, so I don't know why I did that. So I'm bringing up my ships, a little riverine element, to try and just interdict those guys. So I've landed my tanks, and now I'm going to attack the other sector. So with my guys going around the top to the Usaris sector, and those tanks I just showed you going to that sector on the right, that means the enemy is not going to be able to bring in any reinforcements once I either capture those sectors or I cause the enemy command vehicles to move. Going to bring in more tanks. And yeah, this is just one way of running this show. So you can see my guys on the left are hanging in there pretty good. They're just bopping the enemy infantry carrier vehicles. We got another stack of looks like 6, and then some coming across the bridge. I don't know what happened here. I must have clicked something weird because my guys that are supposed to be going through the woods over to Usaris have started to return. So I'm going to send them back. Sometimes that happens. I'll misclick something. Very foolish of me. See, my infantry character vehicles keep unloading ATGMs on those tanks. Some guys in the wood who are going to take on these Factoria, which is Russian for anti-armor troops. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to bring my guys in, have an attack move so that they stop and engage anything that they see. That way I don't have to worry about, the stability of their weapons platforms on the move. You can just click attack move, they're going to stop and engage and then keep moving. So I'm moving those infantry in. You can see I've already caused the command vehicle in Usaris to move out of position, so that point is no longer captured, or that sector is no longer controlled by the enemy, so they're not going to be able to reinforce through there. And now I'm just going to walk these guys down towards Delta. Same thing in Bolshoi command sector. My tanks have caused the command vehicle to move there. So now the enemy's in a situation where they are surrounded. They can't bring any more troops in. So it's a bad deal for them. That's the advantage of bringing the Marines attacking from both the land and the sea. My ships are getting messed up here. I've got a rocket artillery ship there, the Shangju. And it is unloading some rocket-powered hatred from the enemy there on the west side of Delta. And they've got full support units that are getting messed up with my tanks. Kind of going to walk that vehicle around through the woods. I'm still getting an impressive amount of forces. Alright, I'm going to try and bring in a Q-51 on a bombing run, and I have a feeling this is... Oh, I actually bring in 2 of them. I'm like screaming at my past self not to do that because they start getting lit up and destroyed. And I think that one... Is that one going to get away? Nope, I'm letting him turn around. I'm letting him turn around and go back over the enemy. And he's dead. So, obviously not one of my smartest moves. I know I titled this video, how to win at Vladivostok, but something you shouldn't do is employ your bombers against a heavy concentration of air defense systems. So the enemy's going to keep throwing themselves against my line of infantry. I'm going to bring in a bunch of reinforcements. I'm just going to lay them down and hope that they get there all right. In the meantime, I'm bringing up another gunship to start bopping these BMPs and attacking them from the left with these tanks. All right, so that's going to kind of move on them. Now my guys are moving down the Usaris sector, clearing out any enemy that are there. I decided to take some of the enemy that's coming in and reinforce that little town since it's right in the way of what the enemy wants to do. There's quite the firefight going on in there. The enemy has recapped the Bolshoi command sector, so I'm just going to go and see if I can flush out whatever command vehicle they've got in there. These guys keep marching down south. They're encountering like no resistance whatsoever, so I've split them into their constituent squads. And I'm moving them down. That way they can occupy vehicles, or not vehicles. That way they can occupy buildings more effectively. Because if you got too many units stacked together, they can't all occupy the same vehicle square. So you can see the enemy eye seems a little bit confused. Oh, we got a volley of missiles, but it didn't do anything. Yeah, so my infantry are getting back into this little, the second town across from the bridge. They've already destroyed the enemy infantry's carrier vehicles, which means that they are now trying to hoof it. But you can see a lot of tracers coming in, whittling away those guys. But the BMPs are actually, you know, they're laying down some hatred, and they just destroyed one of my infantry units. So it is not a foregone conclusion how this is going to go for me. And we're both got kind of the same amount of destruction points. If you look there over on the right, you know, I'm sitting at 1,300 destruction points remaining. The enemy a little bit lower at 1,100 and change. I start attacking that, and then I realize, hey, I don't want to attack the fob. Why don't I capture the fob? You could always use an extra fob, extra supplies. You can see I got another rocket artillery volley going. Doesn't really destroy a lot of people, but it does cause them to panic a bit, which makes them less effective. Moskaya Pektova are trying to move in on my village, so we're going to stop that. It's not a problem. I'm not concerned about it. I'm putting in some support vehicles just to protect my command sector. Or, not my command sector, my command vehicle. And now they've abandoned Delta as well. Presumably, oh, they've retaken it. Presumably because my motorized infantry guys are coming towards them. And they've abandoned it again. My tank's stopping to refuel before I start marching them towards Delta, so that we can go right around the enemy's rear. Kind of surrounding these guys. This is a fun level to play because anytime you can do an amphibious operation, it's kind of fun because it allows you to do some kind of unique stuff rather than just moving and capping and defending. So it's fun. I like it. Of course, this is my second playthrough of this campaign. The first time I didn't do so well, but from where the campaign is going already, I can tell you it's going a lot better, and I'm hoping I'll be able to see the rest of the campaign through, because I do think it is fun so far. It provides you with a bit more options than the other campaigns, or at least the easier campaign, which was the Busan Pocket campaign. Alright, so the enemy is kind of trying to, I don't know what they're doing, going through the woods. They're just about all out of Schlitz. They're at like just under 700 destruction points remaining. We've got 80% of the destruction points we need. I'm going to take some very cinematic video of these tanks busting up on the BTR 60s. Oh, my guy got blasted there, but that's okay. Another BMP shot is coming towards him. Tank's definitely in danger, but he's, oh yeah, so I'm going to reverse him out of there. Because I'm going to need every tank I can get later on in the campaign. Because the enemy is going to start bringing in just successfully better and better tanks. These the units I'm fighting now still aren't the best. They're a little bit better than in the last battle in Kwatsovka, but they're not too good. Now my tanks are beating up on their air defense units. I think I'm trying to bring in another command vehicle so I can capture Foxtrot sector, but I'm going to end up not needing it because I'm going to completely take over this sector. I was just thinking, hey, you know, if this battle ends inconclusively, I want to make sure I have a good, strong position. But enemies down to 200 command points. Or not command points, destruction points. I apologize for all my misspeaking, but, you know, that's just what happens when you're narrating these videos. And the enemy retreats because they are cowards. I've destroyed their naval infantry regiment, inflicted a lot of damage. You can see all the Ruskies that my guys rolled up, and now, well, you're gonna see that they leave. They go to Bolshoi Command. This sad major tells me, hey, now you can deploy the North Korean Marines right into Vladivostok, but you gotta keep the sea lane open. Otherwise, you're gonna, you know, you're not gonna be able to do that. So that's basically it. And here I am. I've taken Vladivostok. So I destroyed their fleets, and that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.